with the new CWAF board chair, Pat Saldana-Natke. We are so pleased to be with all of you this morning to honor this year's awardee, Kathryn Anthony, PhD. In addition to our gratitude for your presence, we also want to thank our sponsors for making this event possible in this challenging moment. Our collective gratitude goes to Black Spectacles, Chicago Lightworks, the Graham Foundation, Kuklinski and Rapp Architects, Redmond Construction, Ross Barney Architects, and Urban Works. We are grateful for additional sponsorship by Brennan Stool and Lynch, Apama Bapu Consulting, Hutter Architects, and Troy Architects. We are also appreciative of generous donations from Leah Israel, Cumming Corporation, Ares Tech Surfaces, Elizabeth Scanlon, Veselka Ivanovich, and Noel Kwok. More information about all of our sponsors will be presented later in the event. Speaking of exploring the platform, we encourage you to use your cursor to move around. The agenda is in the top right of your screen. You can hover with your cursor over that content to make the full agenda visible. There are also 2 floors. You may access either floor by selecting the number in the window on the left of your screen. You may also double-click on any of the tables to meet others. All tables are open. Names simply recognize sponsorship. If there are any questions throughout the event, please click the Need Help button, which is on the bottom left of your screen, for real-time text chat assistance. Know that there are also multiple chat functions for you to connect. You can click the chat icon on the bottom navigation panel in order to text, which is private, one-on-one, table-wide, and also event-wide. Before we move on, I also want to make sure that everyone also sees that all of the sponsors are listed down on the bottom panel with the banner, and you can click any logos in order to learn more about our sponsors. Finally, I also want to acknowledge the dedication of our platform host, Brian Malone of Malone Media, and truly thank him for his continued support throughout the event today. Come and meet other female architects about Coalition. All are invited. This was the call that Gertrude Lemp-Kurbis sent to women in the Chicago architecture community. The call was answered, and on the morning of January 12, 1974, Kurbis welcomed colleagues to her office at 664 North Michigan Avenue, and CWA was founded. The founders felt the need to join together in order to support each other to combat the isolation felt by women architects at the time. Issues such as lack of recognition for their contributions, lack of access to public projects, lack of professional support for challenges of raising children or caring for aging parents, lack of pay equity, and lack of sensitivities to gender differences have improved somewhat since 1974, but challenges certainly remain. Today, CWA's work to support a more equitable future is ongoing. CWA is a 501c6 nonprofit, volunteer membership-led organization that supports women throughout their careers. It is the organization for women architects, licensed or not, students, professionals, or retirees can spend a few minutes reliving in the company of like-minded individuals, women who know what it means to be an architect. The Chicago Women in Architecture Foundation was established in 2003 as a 501c3 nonprofit foundation, born of a desire to formalize a scholarship program. CWAF support now also extends to fundraising for events and special projects that further careers for women in and around the field of architecture. Signature CWF initiatives include the Gertrude Lemp-Kurbis Scholarship and the Lifetime Achievement Award that we're celebrating today, along with a few other key projects that are in development. And here we are this morning, gathered to celebrate the CWAF Lifetime Achievement Awardee. This award was first established in 2017 to honor distinguished women who have positively contributed as a member of CWA and have supported issues faced by women architects throughout their career. Recipients of the annual award are nominated and selected by CWA members and CWAF officers as recognition of the awardee's impact on the lives and careers of others in the architecture community and inspiring new generations of women to engage with CWA in the field of architecture. None of this work is possible without the commitment of the CWAF Board of Directors. As such, I am delighted to now turn this over to Pat, our board chair. Brian, if you would also please advance to the next slide.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you so much, everyone. This is so exciting. There were over 110 that signed up to attend. I'm seeing all these wonderful faces from years ago and young architects, male and female. So thank you, everyone. We are so proud of the accomplishments of our board members. The Chicago Women in Architecture Foundation you see the slide there of the women, and each woman is a leader in her own firm or organization or in the community. From healthcare work, which is so important right now, by firm owner Mimi Troy, and HDR's managing principal Grace Rapp, from the important housing and critical urban placemaking by Pam Hutter and Susan King of HED. Their work enhances our city. Each of our board members has a pursuit of social justice that permeates throughout their work, through the scholarly work of Roberta Feldman, the environmental leadership of Helen Kessler. Work is done locally and globally, from Melissa Vinoy's work, corporate work from Getch, to local Midwest public sector work by Rula Alikioto, by Carol Barney, locally and nationally, and also Beth Scanlon's work through the Public Building Commission. We're honored also to include Kim Kurbis in our board. She's a positive force in the real estate sector, a shining example of the lineage of the Kurbis family and their scholarship that they give to the Chicago Women in Architecture. And then each year, our board also includes a Chicago Women in Architecture past president. This year, Noelle has been the great conduit between the organizations. And I would be remiss not to mention the dedication and expertise of Alexandra, our consulting executive director. She has been coordinating us, organizing us, cultivating new donors. She has elevated the organization in order to expand and do an outreach. It's work, but it's a labor of love also. So I thank you, Alexandra, and I thank each of the board members. As I mentioned, it's all about the people and their commitment. So I want to make a special acknowledgement. If you could please move to the next slide, Brian. For 9 years of officer service, it is a special acknowledgement to 2 very dedicated foundation board members who reignited the foundation 9 years ago. They expanded the board, hired our first consulting executive director, Sarah Rogers Morris, and under their leadership, managed the Gertrude Kurbis Scholarship, the Carol and Alan Barney donation, and our next initiative, which we will announce in a few moments. But we want to thank Beth and Pam for remaining on the board to pass the baton, because now I, as a new chair, am a beneficiary of this strong foundation that has been set. We know that as leaders, they have made personal sacrifices for the greater good, and we want to thank them. So Brian, if you could please bring Beth and Pam up to, there they are. So want to, everyone please thank them. Thank you so much. Do we have Pam? No. Well, maybe we'll bring on Pam a little bit later. So I want to have you join me in thanking them. And if you can move to the next slide. As we mentioned, we have a very special launch. Today, we acknowledge the Chicago Women Architecture Foundation board member, Rula Akioto. She won the 2018 Lifetime Achievement Award from Chicago Women in Architecture. She is a shining star and role model for design excellence. Her work includes municipal, commercial, residential, large-scale projects. She's done work at O'Hare, Navy Pier, and civic positions throughout the city. We're honored that she continues her legacy of philanthropy by donating and highlighting the importance of women in the field of architecture. And Alexandra will speak a bit about the upcoming fall launch of the new scholarship.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, thank you, Brian. Rula was able to prepare a statement for us today as she was traveling, and we were a little unsure about her internet connection. So I do see that she is here and able to join us. So I hope those of you will be able to find her later on in the event and maybe engage with her directly at a table. But for right now, I want to echo Pat's gratitude and respect for Rula's career, her leadership, and her generosity. And I am very pleased to confirm that CWF and CWA will officially launch this new scholarship initiative in the fall. As an original member of CWA, Rula's longstanding involvement and belief in the CWA community is embodied in this new annual unrestricted scholarship. Another program is also in development that really demonstrates the result of Rula's generosity and commitment to the CWA community, which is the new Study Resource Initiative, which is to provide support and access to materials that help women prepare for their architecture licensure exams. Statistically, women do not take the exams in the same numbers as their male colleagues, and CWAF is committed to doing all that it can to close the gender gap within licensure and the field of architecture at large. So in the spirit of Rula's incredible career, this new scholarship fund will be open to academically strong female undergraduate or graduate architecture students in need of financial assistance in their final year of study. Recommendations from department faculty will be required to be eligible for the unrestricted $5,000 scholarship. Again, CWAF and CWA are sincerely grateful for Rula's generous and ongoing support and belief in the CWA community and work, and we look forward to sharing more about these new initiatives shortly. For right now, we do encourage you to visit our website, cwarc.org, to learn more, and we will be forthcoming with additional information as it is available. Back to you.
Thank you, Rula.
Yes, thank you, Rula.
We will now introducing Carol Ross Barney. And Carol, as you know, has been a leader in the design field here in the city of Chicago. And she will introduce our new recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award. Carol?
Good morning, everybody.
There we go.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm really happy to be with you all today to celebrate the stellar career of my good friend, Dr. Kathryn Anthony. Lately, things have been so turbulent and so challenging and confusing. I mean, from zero tolerance to compassionate understanding, from Me Too to Black Lives Matters. I know that I find myself searching for thought and leadership to help meet these challenges. And for her entire career, Kathryn Anthony has been providing that leadership and that balance. I met Kathy shortly after she arrived at the University of Illinois, and that's, I think it's about 37 years ago. I hate to use big numbers and throw them around so carelessly like that, but and she arrived, she had a recently conferred PhD in architecture from the University of California at Berkeley. And I was really anxious to get to know her for a couple of reasons. Like, why would anyone leave California to live in Champaign? And what exactly is a PhD in architecture? But mostly, I was elated because my school had finally hired a bona fide, full-time, tenure-track female architecture professor. It was a big step forward for us. And since then, I found the answers, or if not the answers, some reasons to be thankful for Kathy. One is I know that we're lucky that she likes Champaign at least as well as California. And I've also learned that a PhD researches and writes about how spaces and places affect people. And that is important information that we need to keep doing the work we do. I also have learned over the years that UIUC hired one of the most dedicated and passionate advocates for women in architecture that there has ever been. Kathy's resume features over 100 publications, congressional testimonies, and literally bushels of recognition. I urge you to visit her Vitae online to truly appreciate her amazing accomplishments. Closer to home, she's been a constant and meaningful contributor to CWA. I know many of you out in sitting out in those lovely lounges have either participated on or hosted one of her very famous Chicago firm tours. It would take a lot more time than I think you want to spend now to adequately describe her work, because I know you're all anxious to hear from her. So in recognition of her teaching, her research, her publications, and especially her advocacy for women architects, I'm very honored to introduce the 2020 Chicago Women in Architecture Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Kathryn Anthony.